Good evening, staff's community. Welcome to the first staging of our 2026 debates. This evening, our grade 5 students will be getting the opportunity to showcase their public speaking skills while debating curriculum-related topics. I am your host, Carol Blanchard. But first things first, let us prepare ourselves for the national anthem, the playing of the national anthem. So we are having a little difficulty at this time. Technical challenges always seem to have raised their ugly heads in our production these days. And so I'm sure the technical team, headed by Mr. Rashawn White, our systems administrator, will be fixing the job in due time. Special thanks to our technical team this afternoon, headed by our systems administrator, Mr. Rashawn White. This evening promises to be a fantastic production, and it's going to be quite tight, ladies and gentlemen. But let us welcome our judges this evening. First judge is indeed Miss Paula Gooden. Miss Paula Gooden comes to us from KPMG. Jess. Miss Gooden, at this time, kindly show your face so that the viewing public, the community, can see your beautiful face.
Hi, good afternoon. I'll show my face in a little bit. Okay, sorry about that.
That is okay. Thank you for consenting to be a part of the judging panel this afternoon. Next on our panel is Mr. Darren Hamilton, coming to us from Citibank. He's indeed an IT manager, and before him, you'd have had the contracts manager at KPMG Jess. Mr. Hamilton, could you put forward yourself on screen?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to be here. To all of the debaters, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hamilton. And coming from the culture community, the JCD, Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, we have a teacher from Hillel and a finalist in the Miss 2025 Festival competition, Festival Queen competition. That is indeed Miss Brittany Watts. Miss Watts, you make yourself welcome, and we make you welcome. You may show your face at this time.
Hi, everyone. All the best to all the debaters this evening.
Thank you so much, Miss Watts. And finally, rounding off the judging panel is a communication specialist at the Digicel community, or in the Digicel community. And she is indeed the reigning festival queen for 2025, Miss Brittany Clark.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having me, Dr. B, and all the best to all the debaters. I'm happy to serve as your judge for this afternoon.
And I must say, she comes from Immaculate for those persons who are also rooting to go to that school as your first choice. If indeed you are loving the judging panel, can you put your emojis in the chat at this time? And now it is indeed the time to introduce our debaters. Debaters from the proposing side. The first speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jadon Allison, and I will be your first speaker for Culture for Grade 5 CN.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Allison. The second speaker. Our second speaker. Second speaker from the proposing team.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aika Gaya, and I am the second speaker for Grade 5 CN.
Thank you, sir. The third speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arya Bennett, and I will be the third speaker for Grade 5 CN.
And CN is actually Mrs. Christina Neal. The rebuttal.
Good evening, all. My name is Anna Gordon, and I will be your rebuttal for Grade 5 Senior.
Okay, Anna will be doing the rebuttal for that team. And now we go over to the opposing side. The first speaker.
Ruth Smith of Grade 5 White, and I am the first speaker on culture.
Second speaker.
Good evening. My name is Owen Williams, and I will be the second speaker of the opposition.
Here goes your footballer, the third speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Akil Anderson, and I am the third speaker of 5DW.
Thank you. Finally, our rebuttal.
Rayhan, be doing the rebuttal for 5DW.
Thank you so much. And there goes our rebuttal, our presenters, our debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause by putting in the chat, your chat on YouTube, all the wonderful emojis so that we can actually build their confidence so that they are preparing for the most exciting day of their life in the month of March. It is indeed the March debates. And so we prepare ourselves for the debate by telling you a much more information about what they will be doing this afternoon. So our first speaker is allotted 7 minutes. The second speaker, 5 minutes. The third speaker, 3 minutes. And for the rebuttal section, it is indeed 2 minutes. The moot for this debate is, be it resolved that preserving the Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. Again, be it resolved that preserving the Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. And let me tell you what the judges will be doing. They'll be looking for arguments and content, 40 marks. Delivery and style, 30 points. Teamwork and collaboration, 20 points. And for the rebuttal, it is indeed 10 points. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get your fingers going because we are ready to put on stage In this 2026 staging of the Grade 5 debates, the first speaker of the proposing team. Please get ready for your speech.
Esteemed Principal Dr. Cara Blanchard, respected teachers, timekeeper, fellow debaters, and our online audience, good evening. The move before the House states, be it resolved that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. Here to affirm, this motion are members of the proposing team. Myself, Jadon Allison, as the first speaker, Ika Gaya, the second speaker, Arya Bennett, the third speaker, and Anna Gordon, the fourth and final speaker. Imagine with me a Jamaica where the sound of reggae music is no more, where the mouth-watering taste of Jamaican jerk is only a memory, and the vibrant rhythms of our Patois language have long gone silent. Also, picture what life would be like if the cultural events that we celebrate each year were lifeless. Images on the pages of our cultural history books. As for the people, they suffer from cultural amnesia, described by Australian author Clive James as a society that has forgotten who they are. Sadly, this dark abyss of forgetfulness is what our beloved country will become if we neglect our culture and traditions. Since culture is not just entertainment, it is the heart and life of our identity. If we fail to preserve our culture, we are lost. We cannot face the challenges of today with strength, and we jeopardize our future. This must not be allowed. No, not in this Jamaica land we love. As a first speaker, it is my duty to frame today's debate and define the key terms in the motion. Culture. Culture refers to the collective customs, foods, music, language, art, and celebrations that make Jamaica unique. Preserving. Preserving means actively protecting and passing on traditions, practices, and expressions so they are not forgotten. National identity is the shared sense of belonging and pride that is rooted in our common history, culture, and values. Despite our differences, it is that oneness referred to in our motto, out of many one people. Essential. It means something that is absolutely necessary and needed. Therefore, the motion be it resolved that preserving Jamaican culture is essential to national identity means that safeguarding our traditions and heritage is vital and necessary to keeping Jamaica's identity strong, unified, and proud. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all, our first argument to support the moot that it is that it safeguards our history and heritage. I will state 3 reasons why this is so. Firstly, Jamaican culture is preserved through rich oral traditions and storytelling passed down from our ancestors, including folklore, proverbs, and patois. Oral traditions offer history, values, and wisdom to guide the younger generation. Now you decide. Which is most impactful? To be told focus on your own affairs or cockroach no business in a foul fight? My case in point, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, renowned civil rights activist, warned, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. In other words, without oral traditions, our identity becomes weak and fragile. This truth is echoed in the Jamaican proverb, "Cow never know the use of him tail till him lose it." It teaches that people often fail to value what they have until it's gone. In the same way, if we neglect our stories and proverbs, we risk losing the very roots that hold us together. On the other hand, if we preserve our oral traditions, we ensure that the lessons from the past guide our future, keeping our identity strong and unshakable. Secondly, festivals, music, and dance are integral parts of our culture. It preserves our heritage and keeps our ancestors' struggles alive. Events such as Emancipation and Independence Day give us a sense of community and remind us of our history of slavery and the road to freedom. Traditional performances at the Grand Gala, the Mellow-Go-Round, float parades, and historical enactments are not only entertainment, they help us to remember those who fought for our freedom and inspire us to persevere even in the face of difficulties. Thirdly, traditional arts and crafts, like weaving, pottery, and clothing, such as the traditional bandana, show the skill and creativity of our ancestors. When we keep making and teaching these crafts, we make sure old skills do not disappear and we teach future generations that our identity is built on patience, effort, and pride. By protecting them, we keep Jamaica's identity alive. I close with this. We must safeguard our heritage, our oral traditions, our festivals, music, dance, and crafts, because without it, our identity as a people crumbles like a tree without roots. In preserving our cultural heritage, we ensure that generations to come inherit wisdom, pride, resilience, belonging. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allison. Now we hop over to the opposers. The first speaker of the opposing team. Have you been having your water? Get your branded water. First speaker of the opposing team.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rukla Smith, and the team and I stand firmly to oppose the motion, be it resolved that preserving culture is essential for national identity. First, let us understand what this statement means. It is saying that a country cannot have a national identity unless it keeps culture exactly as it is. I disagree. National identity is about how people see themselves as a nation. It includes shared values, laws, symbols, and how citizens treat each other. Culture is important, yes, but it is not the only thing that makes a nation what it is. Before we begin our arguments, let us define some important terms. Preserving culture. It was Mahatma Gandhi who said, "A nation's culture resides in the heart and in the soul of its people." Preserving culture means taking active steps to save, record, and promote older cultural values and practices that would otherwise change with time and newer generations. These are things Jamaicans might not immediately practice if they were not taught. Examples include traditional clothes, traditional music, traditional dance, and traditional language. Essential means something necessary or fundamental to existence. National identity is a shared sense of belonging to a nation, defined by common culture, language, and history, rather than just legal citizenship. There are two major issues in this debate. The first issue is practices versus surroundings. The proposition will likely argue that the practices and beliefs of a people give them their identity. However, the opposition will show that other factors like surroundings and history can also form identity. The second issue is old versus new cultural practices. The opposition will know that even as people grow and take on new ways of doing things, the fundamental aspects of identity remain. Today, I will represent two arguments. First, national identity existed before culture and can therefore exist without preserving it. Second, losing traditional practices associated with culture does not erase the real foundation of identity. We, the opposition, must prove that the people of Jamaica would still be able to understand who is or who is not Jamaican based by factors that are objectively true and commonly understood by everyone. The proposition, on the other hand, must prove that Jamaicans would not be able to do this without preserving culture. Jamaica is a multicultural and multi-ethnic society with a rich background and history. Throughout much of Jamaica's past, the only thing we've had in common was that we all lived here. Indigenous people called the Taínos originally lived here. Later, when the British settled on the island, enslaved Africans were brought here. Eventually, the Chinese, Indian, and other European people also came here on the indentureship. All of these groups together created the society we now proudly describe as out of many one people. Before we had a single unified culture, we already had our shared surroundings and our shared history. Even then, people still knew who they were and where they belonged. Because of this, the proposition cannot say that they are lost without preserving culture. Our first argument is national identity existed before culture and can therefore exist without preserving it. As we explained in the context, Jamaica's national identity developed from our shared land, history, and experiences. Different groups came to this island at different times, bringing different traditions. At the beginning, there was no single culture that everyone shared. Yet, people still recognized that they lived in the same place and were part of the same developing society. This means that national identity does not depend entirely on preserving culture. Even without identical traditions, people can still recognize themselves as belonging to the same nation. Our second argument is losing traditional practices associated with culture does not erase the real foundation of national identity. Countries are not frozen in the past. New ideas, new technology, and new people influence them. In other words, they develop. If we focus only on preserving old customs, we may stop ourselves from improving and adapting. For example, in Jamaica, our culture today is not exactly the same as it was 100 years ago. We have new music styles, different fashion, and different celebrations. But does that mean we have lost the identity? No, it simply means our identity has grown. If a country refuses to change just to preserve old culture, it may become divided or left behind. National identities should therefore bring people together and allow growth, not trap people in the past. Now, I'm not saying that culture is not important, but it's not the only thing that makes a nation what it is. In conclusion, preserving culture can be valuable, but it is not essential for national identity. National identity is stronger and deeper than traditions alone. Therefore, I confidently oppose the moot. Be it resolved that preserving culture is essential for national identity. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Smith. Now we hop back over to our proposing team with the second speaker taking the stage.
Esteemed moderator, respected judges, fellow debaters, and my teammates, pleasant good day. My name is Aika Gaya, and I am the second speaker for the proposition. My first speaker clearly defined the moot and explained why preserving Jamaican culture is essential to our national identity. I will now build on those arguments and present additional reasons why protecting and preserving Jamaican culture is so important for our country. First, we must understand what culture really means. Culture is the way of life of a people. It includes how we speak, what we eat, the music we listen to, the clothes we wear, the values we believe in, and the traditions we pass down from one generation to the next. Jamaican culture is vibrant, creative, and full of life. It can be seen in our reggae and dancehall music, in our delicious foods like jerk chicken, patties, ackee, and saltfish, in our energetic dances, and even in our unique language, Jamaican patois. When a Jamaican proudly says, "Awagwan," that is culture in action. These things may seem simple, but they are very powerful because they tell the world who we are as Jamaicans. Secondly, Jamaican culture has made a major impact on the entire world. Even though Jamaica is a very small country of less than 3 million people, our culture is recognized almost everywhere on the planet. One of the greatest examples of this is our reggae music, which was made famous worldwide by the late and legendary Bob Marley. Through reggae music, messages of love, peace, and unity and freedom travel far beyond our island shores. Even today, if you start singing love almost anywhere in the world, nearby will likely recognize it and sing along with you. And I know we have seen all those social media videos of non-Jamaicans trying to say Wagwan in the best Jamaican accent. The fact that Jamaican is even a thing shows the incredible power of Jamaican culture. However, while our culture may be truly created because it was born from the history, struggles, and creativity of the Jamaican people. Another important reason to preserve Jamaican culture is that it brings Jamaica together, no matter where they live. Jamaicans can be found all over the world, in places like the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and many other countries. But no matter where we go, our culture travels with us. When Jamaicans hear reggae music, celebrate our festival, cook traditional food, or speak patois, it creates a powerful sense of connection and belonging. It reminds us where we come from and it helps us remain proud of our heritage even when we live far from home. In this way, culture strengthens our unity. Furthermore, Jamaican culture plays a very important role in our economy, especially through tourism. Every year, millions of visitors travel to Jamaica. Of course, they enjoy our beautiful beaches, waterfalls, and sunshine. But many tourists say the thing that they love most about our Jamaican culture is our people and our culture. Visitors come to experience our music, festivals, food, and language. The famous Jamaican spirit of warmth and friendliness always greets them. This shows that preserving Jamaican culture not only protects our identity, but also helps our country grow and succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many beautiful islands in the Caribbean around the world. Many places have beaches, many places have sunshine, many places have waterfalls, but there is only one Jamaica. Our culture tells us the story of our ancestors, celebrates our achievements, and guides our future. We see this in Bob Marley's many references to Marcus Mariah Garvey messages that he delivers in his music. If we fail to preserve our culture, we risk losing the very things that make us Jamaican. Therefore, preserving Jamaican culture is not simply a good idea, it is absolutely essential to our national identity. Jamaica may be small on the map, but our culture is around the world. And that is why my team proudly supports the resolution that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for our national identity. I thank you.
Thank you for resting your case at this time. And so we come to the part of the debates where we are actually ready to listen to our third speaker, the third speaker from the proposing team.
Good afternoon, Dr. Blanchard, judges, our audience, teachers, parents, students, and fellow debaters. Our previous speakers, Jaden and Aika, made strong points supporting our mood, which states, "Be it resolved that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity." I will now speak about the economic benefits of tourism. Tourism is one of the most important industries in Jamaica. In 2024, Jamaica welcomed about 4.3 million visitors and earned approximately 4.3 billion US dollars from tourism. When tourists visit Jamaica, they spend money on hotels, restaurants, transportation, tours, and local products. Tourism also supports about 175,000 jobs across the country. Many of the things that attract visitors to Jamaica come directly from our culture, environment, sports, and music. This shows that preserving Jamaican culture not only protects our identity, but it also strengthens tourism and supports our economy. Environment. Jamaica's environment plays an important role in attracting tourists. For example, Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee is considered one of the best coffees in the world. Because it is rare and high quality, it is also one of the most expensive coffees in the world. Many visitors travel to Jamaica just to taste this famous coffee and to see where it is grown. Jamaica is also known for producing excellent rum. Visitors often tour the Appleton Estate Distillery to see how rum is made and to learn about Jamaica's history about growing sugarcane. Our island also has special endemic plants and animals that attract nature lovers. Our national tree, the blue mahole, and our national flower, the lignum variety, are important parts of our natural heritage. Jamaica is home to more than 30 bird species found only in Jamaica, which attracts bird watchers and ecotourists from around the world. Visitors also come for Jamaica's sunshine, warm weather, and beautiful beaches. Protecting our natural environment helps keep Jamaica attractive to tourists and helps support the tourism economy. Sports. Sports are another important part of Jamaican culture that benefits tourism. Jamaica is famous around the world for track and field. Jamaican athletes have won more than 80 Olympic medals, making Jamaica one of the most successful sprinting nations in the world. Because of this reputation, sports fans travel to Jamaica to experience our sporting culture and watch competitions. Events such as cricket matches, football games, and track meets attract visitors and sports supporters. One of Jamaica's most exciting sports events of the year is ITSA Boys and Girls Championships, also known as champs. Every year, thousands of spectators, coaches, and scouts travel to Jamaica to watch this historic event. These sporting events help hotels, restaurants, and transportation services earn money, which benefits the Jamaican economy. Music. As the first speaker Jaden said, music is one of the strongest parts of Jamaican culture and a major attraction for tourists. Jamaica is known worldwide as the birthplace of reggae music. Reggae is so important to global culture that it was recognized by UNESCO as a part of the world's intangible cultural heritage. Many tourists visit the Bob Marley Museum, which was once the home of the legendary reggae artist Bob Marley. Visitors go there to learn about reggae music and Jamaica's cultural history. Jamaica also hosts large music festivals such as Reggae Sunfest, Rebel Roots, and Reggae Sunsplash. Thousands of visitors travel to Jamaica to attend these festivals. While they are here, they stay in hotels, eat in restaurants, and support local businesses. This helps generate income and supports the jobs in the tourism industry. In comparison with other Caribbean islands, many Caribbean islands have beautiful beaches and warm weather, including Barbados, the Bahamas, and Dominican Republic. However, Jamaica stands out because of its unique culture. Jamaica is the birthplace of reggae and home to world-class athletes like Usain Bolt. Jamaica also produces Blue Mountain coffee and the world-class rum from the Appleton Estate Distillery. While some Caribbean islands depend mostly on beaches, Jamaica combines music, sports, food, and culture, helping the country attract over 4 million visitors each year. This shows that preserving our culture gives Jamaica an competitive advantage in tourism and strengthens our economy more than relying on beaches alone. In conclusion, tourism brings billions of dollars into the economy of Jamaica every year and supports thousands of jobs. We can see how important tourism is by looking at what happened during COVID-19. In 2020, global travel stopped and Jamaica's visitor arrivals dropped sharply. Tourism earnings fell from over US 37 billion in 2019 to about US 1.3 billion in 2020, which caused many hotels and tourism businesses to close temporarily and thousands of workers to lose jobs. These events show how strongly Jamaica's economy depends on tourism. But tourists do not visit Jamaica only for hotels. They come for our culture, music, sports, environment, and traditions. As Jamaica's tourism minister, the Honorable Edmond Bartlett has said, Jamaica's culture is one of the strongest drivers of our tourism industry. This means that we protect Jamaican culture, we also protect tourism industry that supports our economy. For these reasons, we strongly support the moot that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity and economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so at this time, we have actually departed from the regular scheduling of the speakers. And so let me apologize for that and invite Mr. Ein to get into the room as the second speaker of the opposing team.
Good evening, honorable judges, timekeeper, my worthy opponents, and members of the audience. My name is Owen Williams. As the second chief speaker of the opposition, I stand strongly against this mute. Let me make it clear from the start, we love Jamaica and respect our history. However, we do not believe that keeping Jamaican culture exactly the same is necessary for our national identity. Our team believes that a country becomes stronger when its culture is allowed to grow and evolve. First, we must understand that culture and values are not the same thing. Culture is the way people live. It includes their traditions, customs, music, food, and language. These things are passed from one generation to the next. In simple words, the culture is the way people learn to live and behave from others around them. Values are different. Values are the ideas and beliefs that guide how people act and treat each other. As our first opposition speaker said, Jamaica's national identity grew from shared experiences like slavery, indentureship, and many social struggles. Over time, Jamaicans also shared the same experience of building families, working hard, forming communities, and practicing religion. These experiences help to build values such as unity, strength, creativity, and determination. Today, we see these values in our athletes, musicians, and leaders. They show the qualities Jamaicans admire: hard work, confidence, creativity, and pride in their country. Even when music, fashion, or food changes, these values remain the same. This shows that national identity is shared values and not keeping traditions exactly the same. Secondly, culture naturally changes over time. Each generation creates its own style of music, language, fashion, and art. The music our grandparents enjoyed is different from the music young people enjoy today, but it is still proudly called Jamaican music. Jamaican culture itself was formed from many groups of people, including Africans, Europeans, Indians, and Chinese. Because of this mix, Jamaican culture has always been changing and growing. The real question in this debate is whether change makes us forget who we are. Human beings grow and develop over time. Even as society changes, Jamaicans still share the same strong values that remind us of what it means to belong to this country. In addition, focusing on keeping the past the same can slow progress. Jamaica must grow and develop to succeed in today's world. If we protect old traditions, we might refuse the new ideas, technology, and creativity. Young Jamaicans should have the chance to learn new skills, explore new inventions like artificial intelligence, and work with people from different parts of the world. A strong country allows its people to learn, create, and discover new ideas. National identity is also about belonging. People are Jamaican because they live in the country, help their communities, and support the nation's growth. The, the opposition may say, if we do not protect culture, we lose our identity. But we must ask ourselves, did we lose our identity when our music changed, when technology came into our lives, or when young people created new ideas? The answer is no. In conclusion, we should remember and respect our culture. But national identity does not depend on keeping culture exactly the same. It comes from shared values, unity, citizenship, and progress. Jamaica's true strength is its ability to grow, create, and succeed in a changing world. When culture grows, our national identity grows with it. Thank you.
Thank you, I. Boy, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the judges must be having some challenging time at this time. And so our third speaker from the opposing team goes straight ahead in defending your arguments. Third speaker. Third speaker.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Principal Dr. Blanchard, grade 5 teachers, parents, my proposing team, and what watching live. Good day, everyone. My name is Akil Anderson, and I am the third speaker representing the opposition in today's debate. Be it resolved that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. To begin, you're muted, Akil. I'm muted? To begin, culture contributes to surface level identity, but the real foundation of national identity lies in our country's history and shared values. Parts of culture and clothing, music, and language change over time. These elements help recognize a country, but they are not defines it. A national identity is built more on its shared history, the struggles people through went together, and the values passed down through generations. The, the lessons learned from the past and shared historical experience. For, ex, for example, in Jamaica, our music, fashion, and language have changed over the years. New music styles fashion, fashion trends change, and the way people speak evolves with each generation. However, Jamaicans still share the same history of colonization and independence. These experiences shape how people see their country and their place in it. And let's be honest, our slang changes so fast that sometimes even Jamaicans need subtitles. In a nation focuses if a nation focuses too much on protecting surface level culture, it might start paying attention to the wrong things. Cultural expressions can change, but a national identity stays strong when people remember their history and continue to follow their. If people think preserving culture is the only way to To protect national identity, societies may become too overprotective of traditional and afraid of change. This limit This limit creativity and stop new cultural ideas and developing. National identity should be able to grow and change, still staying connected to shared history and values. In conclusion, national identity is built on a nation's history, struggles, and core values. These elements remain strong even as even as cultural expressions change. Therefore, a country's identity should be rooted in countries and values than than surface level cultural features. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And so there you have it from the three speakers from each of the teams. Now we are going to ask these children to huddle so that the rebuttal persons can present the rebuttal arguments on behalf of each of the teams. So at this time, the children will be placed in the breakout rooms. And I suspect that at this time, the judges may be looking at who is the best speaker for this debate. They will also be meeting together to determine who will present the information regarding the judge's decision. And so our team, our technical team, will put all the debaters in a breakout room, each team being provided with its own breakout room. So they will be going in a breakout room at this time to ensure that they are preparing for their rebuttal. And so at this time, we'll get a bit of entertainment from one of our young songbirds, and our technical team has that tape.
Thank you.
much for that lovely, beautiful singing. Indeed, one of our staff students. And so we started with the proposing team. And at this time, we are going to start our rebuttal with the opposing team first. So the opposing team rebuttal will come at this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us hear it from our opposers with the rebuttal.
The opponents of the audience. My name is Daniel Graham. The proposing team has argued that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. However, the argument fails to provide that national identity depends solely on preserving culture. The first argument made by the proposing team is that culture is essential for national identity. My team and I strongly oppose this notion. A nation's identity is also built on shared values, institutions, achievements, and unity, not just cultural traditions. For example, Jamaica's national identity is reflected in Jamaica's athletic achievements in track and field, education, and innovation, the shared pride we feel in being Jamaican. These elements unite the people of Jamaica and contribute to our national identity beyond cultural traditions alone. As a nation, Jamaicans embrace change. We see this in how we adapt to new technologies and new ways of doing things. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019, many of our institutions were able to transition to online classes. We were not confined to our traditional methods of learning. Instead, we adapted to the changing environment in which we live. If we had remained strictly tied to traditional ways of doing things, we would not have been able to navigate those challenging times. This demonstrates that if culture must remain strictly preserved, then progress and cultural development would stop. The first speaker said, the first speaker talked about the younger generations and how they could forget about our past. But if the younger generations hold back their potential, stopping them from expanding the country because they're trying to learn the old ways, it could end up in a problem without the development. They also said national identity is most important and we won't be recognized. Even if we accept that culture plays an important role in national identity, it does not prove that preserving culture is essential for it. Even if some aspects of Jamaican culture were lost or changed over time, Jamaicans will still have a strong sense of belonging, pride, identity as a nation. You said they recognized us by listening to our music and traditions. They mostly recognize us by our achievements too. Even if preserving Jamaican culture is important, it does not necessarily mean that it is essential for national identity. National identity is also built on shared values, achievements, and unity among the people. Therefore, while Jamaican culture is important, it is not the only factor that defines national identity. For these reasons, we respectfully oppose the move. Thank you. That is my rebuttal.
Thank you, ma'am. And we move to the proposing team's rebuttal.
Esteemed Principal Dr. Cara Blanchard, judges, timekeepers, and my fellow audience, good evening. Before presenting my points, I would like to respond to some of the arguments made by the opposing team. The first speaker of the opposition implied that preserving culture, Jamaican culture, is not necessary in a modern world. However, this argument is weak because culture is what gives a nation its identity. Without preserving our culture, we run the risk of losing the traditions and values that make Jamaica unique. If Jamaica copied another country's culture or lost her own, it would not make us unique in any way. And may I add that it would just make us the land of wood and water. Tell me, Is there anything special about that? We would just be a so-so island with nothing special about their people. And enslaved Africans were brought to the most Caribbean countries. We were not the only ones. Most Caribbean countries are multicultural and multi-ethnic. Culture does evolve, but that does not mean that we have to leave it behind. Culture is what gives a nation its identity. But we little but we talawa, meaning that even though we are small, we still make an international impact. Sporting legends like Usain Bolt and Veronica Campbell-Brown in track, Alia Atkinson and Yolanda Wisdom in swimming and diving showcase a perfect example of Jamaican pride and strength, meaning that even though Jamaica is small, we know what we're doing and we know that preserving our culture is important. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we are closing out the debate for the judges to take charge. No, the judges have quite a lot of work to do, and they will now take the breakout room while everybody else in the Zoom room remain muted. And so the judges are going to be finding the best speaker of this debate today with the mood focusing on culture. And the judges are going to be tallying their scores together. And we are going to ask one judge to come forward to give the judges results. No, we're running a very tight ship this evening because we are coming up to a second debate. And the judges will also determine who will remain in the room for the second debate. As we know, some judges will be leaving the platform this evening at the end of the first debate. And so judges, those determination needs to be made in the breakout room as you go. Our system administrator will do so for you. All the judges will be going in the breakout room to decide in the next 2 minutes who is the 2026 winner of the grade 5 culture debate. Now we have online, or we're going to get online as the judges go in, one of our cultural icons in Jamaica who will be coming to us via telephone to speak to our debaters about what it is that they're doing and how culture is important to the fabric of our nation. What a nice place to live. Can you imagine getting that brush to brush your home, the home sweet home lamp, everything culture, and that dying out? Or can you imagine us just evolving? And so we're trying to get that person online. She was online earlier on, and we're trying to get the quotation, the person who actually made the quotation representing one of our artists in Jamaica. We're getting them online as the judges deliberate. I see we're having a bit of challenge here. Technology does that to us very often. But our judges are deliberating, and we are going to be getting the results. And as we wait on the results, remember on April 1st, it is our upper school sports day. Earthquake drill tomorrow at 12:50 for our lower school department. Those parents who normally pick up at 12:50 or 1 o'clock, ensure that you are a part of the drill. Also coming up is the pajama marathon for our grade 6 students. Water days. Remember to buy your branded Staps water. Very, very important for the sustenance of our community. We also want to remind the community that Easter bun will be on sale very soon, and you can make your purchases over the lower school from Miss Reed, who is in charge of swimming. The internal person, the manager, Miss Reed, who is a member of the grade 1 team. Please ensure you're speaking to her for your bun orders. Also coming up in our community is the snack machine for those persons who remain later than the dismissal time at school. You'll be able to get snacks from the snack machine. And Boys Day, I am sure Mrs. Neal is online to give us some notes on Boys Day. Mrs. Neal, provide us with some information on Boys Day if you're still in the Zoom room. Mrs. Neal, still in the Zoom room, or did you leave us? Yes, Boys Day promises to be one of the biggest celebration in terms of Boys Day. And you can make your contributions at school or speak to a member of the committee. Mrs. Neal is also on that committee, so you can speak with Mrs. Neal. Okay, so we want to remind you of our judges, and our system administrator wishes to get that information right now. We have our judges, the judges who are going to be making the determination this afternoon. We have quite a few judges. Paula Gooden, KPMG, Jess, Darren Hamilton, Citibank Jamaica, the IT manager in that community. We also have Brittany Watts, a teacher at Hillel. And finally, we have Brittany Clark, the reigning festival queen. So they are doing their jobs at this time, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure you are waiting to get the results. I can just imagine the parents who have assisted greatly in preparing these students. Boy, they must be sweating at this time, and I'm sure that the sweat will also come through the eyes doing the waterworks when it is that they have shown that their students, their children have done so well. We want to see them in the future as debaters, and we are trying to get online that special person who will be addressing us via phone. Yes, we are making a connection now, a cultural connection, having done a cultural debate. I'm sure at this time in the chat and on YouTube, the persons who are watching are putting in the chat some congratulatory statements. The children did a fine job this evening, and we are grateful for what it is that they have done. Let us applaud them by putting the appropriate emojis in the chat. And we are trying to get that cultural icon on. She was on a while ago, but it was a challenge to get her back. It is proving to be a challenge to get her back online. But I did enjoy the debates. Be it resolved. And we managed to hear from quite a few of our students in the classes, the White and Neal. White and Neal. And as soon as the judges are ready, our systems administrator will take them out of the breakout room, and one will decide to bring the information to us. I would not want to be a judge this afternoon, or this evening rather. Quite a lot to do behind the scenes. And so I thank our teachers, the production team, and most importantly, our students, our parents, and our judges for the work that they have done. Indeed, the STAPS community is proud this evening. So many students getting the chance to showcase their public speaking skills while dabbling in aspects of the curriculum. These topics actually came from the curriculum, and so it's not far-fetched from what it is that the children are studying at the grade 5 level. Just wanted to make that known. So thank you again, parents, teachers, our judges, our team, so ably ensuring that the production is one that is very tight. The judges are saying that they need until about 7:15 to make the deliberations final. And so I'm going to try again to get our cultural queen online as the judges prepare for such a piece of information, to deliver the information that you're all waiting for. I'm sure you are just as anxious as I am this evening. Not sure if Mrs. Neal is back online in the Zoom room with us to speak a little bit about Boys' Day. As I said before, on April 1st, the upper school sports day will be on us. Earthquake drill tomorrow for those persons in our lower school division. Coming up is indeed our pajama party. And here we go. We welcome Dion Silvera online. Miss Dion. How are you? I am so good. Thank you for coming online, and you have to speak up loudly. I know that you are at a function, but give us some thoughts. Speaking to the judges? Yes, you are speaking to the judges and the children and the parents who are on YouTube. That is congratulations. I'm at a function, but she took me outside, and I just want to pick you up at this time. And it's so good that you're touching culture. I'm really happy at this time. But they're waiting on me to come back, so have fun, and I'm calling back in a little while to see how it's going. Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Dion Silvera, one of those persons we really admire on the stage when she does her cultural performances. Thank you, Lady Dion. Thank you for stopping in our debate chat. Thank you. It is going fantastic. I would not like to be a judge at this time at all. Judges that you told me about, I know they can do it. Almighty God, we have two cultural icons on the panel, the festival queen herself and another finalist in the competition. You're in good hands, guys. All the best. I'm so looking forward to hearing the results. Thank you so much, Dion. There you have it, Dion Silvera, one of those cultural icons in our country. And the Oliver Samuels, boy, the cornmeal porridge, the different things that Dion Silvera reminds us about quite often in her production. And so we wait a while for the deliberations. At this time, I wish I had a co-host to talk with because I'm getting so nervous. I wonder what's happening on YouTube. Let me read some of the messages on YouTube that I am seeing. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube is actually festive at this time. And so I want to see what is going on. I'm getting so nervous. Wow. What's happening on YouTube? Look at the faces of my beautiful on YouTube that I am seeing. Let's go. Let's go 5CN. I see that. Look at the statements. The children are getting all their beautiful emojis. I see over. Well, the number on YouTube is going down, but I'm sure there are persons who are coming in for the second debate. Persons on YouTube, ensure that you know that there is indeed a second debate for you to come in and join the activities.
I'm sure there are persons who are coming in for the second debate. Persons on YouTube, ensure that you know that there is indeed a second debate for you to come in and join the activities.
We have 1 more minute for our judges.
Persons on YouTube, ensure that you know that there is indeed a second debate.
If you are a member of a community, a WhatsApp group in STAPS, please start ensuring you're calling those persons who have not seen the first debate. They have an opportunity to see the second debate. If you're a parent rep, it's time to send the messages in the parent rep group. We had over 70 persons watching, but that number has reduced, and we want to ensure that there is viewership for the second debate. So make sure that you're calling in all the persons for the second debate. And it is at the 7:15 mark. 7:15 mark, systems administrator, are our judges ready? Judges, are you ready? I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm being told that they need an extra minute. At this stage, the debate, I'm told, is tough. The decision that the judges need to arrive at, it's not any pure kind of thing we had this afternoon. And so we have to make time for the right call. I'm sure dinner is going to be great after the information is given. And just let me say a big thank you and big congratulations to both teams. You did very, very well, and I am pleased with the performance this evening. Your parents and your teachers and your supporters, the fans of grade 5, need high commendation. We need to give them high commendation for the work that was done to prepare the children for such a debate. I do hope I will see debaters in the making coming from STAPS when you join the different high schools, that you'll continue to display your public speaking skills. Very, very proud of you. And I'm sure your grade 1 teachers who are in the YouTube group, they will be putting forward their sentiments. And the judges are ready. They are ready. So let us welcome our judges to give us the results. Drum roll for our judges.
All right, so good evening, everyone. I'll be representing the judging cohort this evening, and we must first commend the students for an amazing job, because they definitely went in and delivered the points with exceptional precision, good research, and overall good delivery. We can see that they put in the work to get the information and to present the information in a way to either before or against the note, which was be it resolved that preserving the Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. So we want to commend as well how the points were brought across. For the proposing team, we would have seen where they confidently established why culture is important, the different benefits. They spoke about the social benefits, the economic benefits, and they would have delved into just why it is that they believe that we cannot leave our culture behind. We also want to commend the opposing team for how they countered the arguments, speaking about how it is that culture evolves over time and how it is, especially for the younger generation, to come forth and add just different and unique ways of doing things and also to see ourselves as more than just, be the culture, but our shared identity. Don't get stuck on the preservation, but we don't want to be stuck in the past and past ways, but how it is that we can evolve and move forward. So we have to say special commendations to the students for the work that they put in, and of course for the teachers and parents who assisted with the preparations. Now we get down to announcing the winner. And it was a tough decision, I can tell you. We tallied the scores, we had a little discussion, and we have to say, firstly, before I even announce the winning team, we do have to acknowledge the top two speakers who we identified, and then I'll tell you which one is the best speaker overall. So we have to acknowledge Ms. Ruth Claire Smith from the opposing team. She did an exceptional job delivering her points, opening the arguments for the team, and just helping us to really understand, what the position was for the opposing team. So we have to say special commendation for Ruth Claire Smith. But based on the points and the overall presentation, we have to give the best speaker acknowledgement to Aika Guya. I hope I pronounced your name right, young man. But very, very good job. We really appreciated how you introduced the patois, how you spoke. You gave very clear examples, and you were able to have a little spice to how it is that you delivered your second argument as that speaker for the proposing team. So commendations there to you, Aika. You have been determined to be our best speaker this evening. Now, again, very, very difficult decision to choose the winners, but we will have to say that the proposing team would have been, or rather are the winners for tonight's debate, for the note to be it resolved that preserving Jamaican culture is essential for national identity. We believe that the perspectives you shared were wholesome, were comprehensive. You were able to convince us that yes, it's very important to preserve our culture because our culture protects not only our identity, but it adds economic value. And it also gets stronger as we evolve, yes, as mentioned by Ian, but also we cannot leave our culture behind. So congratulations to you, proposing team, that's grade 5 CN. We truly appreciate the work it's doing, but don't be discouraged, grade 5 TW, because it wasn't an easy decision, but we just had to evaluate as per the rules. So congratulations, everyone, and thank you so much for having us online this evening. Dr. D, you're muted.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I was muted. It is indeed your festival queen for 2025, Miss Brittany Clark, the Chief Judge. And so we prepare for the second set of the debate, or the second debate, and we congratulate. I want to see the faces of all the students in the first debate. Mr. Systems Administrator, could you just allow us to see all the beautiful faces of the students who did such a fantastic job? The judges had a hard time deciding who the winner is. And so we want to say thank you again, and we want to see the faces of those students. You did a fantastic job. And so our students will be getting their certificates at the end of the day. There go Mr. Allison and the others who did a fantastic job. And I want to showcase and tell you that these students are not just debaters. They are not just academic persons. They do so well in the sports. I see quite a few footballers on the set, and we thank them for what they have done. Now, the second debate, it's be it resolved that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalties. Be it resolved that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalties. And so the debaters from the first debate will be removed from the Zoom room to make way for the set of debaters who will be making sure that we understand the theme, the mood, of the second debate. So our first set of debaters, they will now join us on YouTube. They'll get a chance to hug their parents and say how you have helped me, and we really, really appreciate the support that you have given. So thank you so much, parents. Thank you so much, children, for the work that you have done. And we are moving on to the second debate. we are talking about child abuse at this time. And our judges, please get ready for the second debate. Now, the proposers, the first speaker from the proposing team.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Archer, and I'm the first speaker for the proposing team for grade 5 LR.
Thank you. First speaker from the proposing team, opposing team, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kira Williams, and I'm the first speaker for grade 5 LR.
Thank you. Opposing team, second speaker.
Hello, my name is Joel Lawrence, and from 5 LR.
Thank you, Sir Lawrence. The second speaker from the other team.
Good evening. My name is Kyra Smith from the proposing team 5 LR.
Thank you. We finally, the third speaker before we get to the rebuttal. Third speaker.
My name is Kaylee, and I am presenting 5 LR.
Thank you. Our third speaker from the other team.
Good evening. My name is Tiana Thomas, and I'm the third speaker for 5 LR.
Thank you. And now we move on to our rebuttal persons. Rebuttal. Proposing team.
My name is Jadian Campbell, and I am the rebuttal for the proposing team.
Okay, he's doing the rebuttal. Third speaker doing the rebuttal from the opposing team.
My name is Catherine Earl, and I will be doing the rebuttal for the opposing team.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is indeed a shift in the dynamics. The first debaters were from two different classes, but this set of debaters are from the same class. So Miss Reed's class has the same students, or the debaters are coming from her class only. So let us see what the dynamics are like in this class. The debaters are debating among students from their class, the same class, Miss Reed's class. And now let us prepare for the first speaker from the proposing side. First speaker.
Mr. Douglas let his 9-year-old son skip school for the month of February to work with a backhoe operator for pay. While on the job, he fell into a pit and became unconscious. When he recovered, Mr. Douglas beat him mercilessly, calling him careless. He ended up in the hospital with broken bones. How do you think the law should treat Mr. Douglas? Esteemed judges, teachers, parents, fellow students, and my most worthy opponents, today I'm here to propose the moot. Be it resolved that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalty. Before my team presents our arguments, it is important for me to first define the key terms. According to the Ministry of Justice in Jamaica, any person who has not yet reached the age of 18 years is considered to be a child. Child abuse is defined under the Jamaica Child Care and Protection Act 2004 as any act or omission by a parent or caregiver that causes or creates the potential for physical, sexual, or emotional harm to a child. Child abuse happens when a parent, guardian, or any adult intentionally harms a child or fails to properly care for them. I will now explain to you the 5 forms of child abuse. 1. Physical abuse. This involves using physical force to cause harm to a child. It includes hitting, cutting, shoving, and torture. This type leads to bruises and cuts, or even more serious physical trauma, such as broken bones, brain injury, loss of specific senses like hearing or vision. Physical abuse may also cause mental difficulties in the future, including personality disorders, depression, and anxiety. Eating disorders as well as substance use disorders and aggression. 2. Sexual abuse. According to the United Nations of Human Rights Council, any sexual activity with a person under the age of 18 years constitutes sexual abuse. Children should be protected from this because sexual abuse can have negative effects such as pain, damage to reproductive organs, sexually transmitted diseases, premature parenthood, low self-esteem, depression, and mental illness. This kind of child abuse may cause children to become promiscuous in later life or even suicidal. The third form of abuse I will now mention is psychological abuse, otherwise called emotional abuse, which involves verbal abuse and threatening behavior. This kind of child abuse conveys to children that they are worthless, flawed, unloved, unwanted, and also leads to low self-esteem and psychological difficulties, which may be permanent. The fourth kind of abuse is neglect. This happens when children are deprived of basic needs, such as food, clothing, shelter, education, attention, or supervision. Neglected children may experience delays in physical and psychological development. Usually, they are antisocial and give a lot of trouble in school. Lack confidence, become anxious, exhibit aggressive behavior, lack social skills, and have few or no friends. They are likely to grow up to be adults who treat their own children badly. Fifth and final are the children who suffer exploitation. This involves child labor and trafficking. It is considered a modern day form of slavery and many times results in children being deprived of basic rights and even death. Now that we have looked at the grievous problem of child abuse and its terrible consequences, let us turn our attention to the matter of penalties. The Cambridge Dictionary defines penalty as a punishment for doing something against a law. A severe penalty is therefore a strong punishment. One of the main purposes of punishment is to prevent a person from repeating a bad action, or to cause a person who is likely to commit a crime to refuse to do it, because of fear of the punishment. The purpose of severe penalties is to increase people's refusal to do really bad things. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency reported almost 14,000 cases of child abuse in the 2023-2024 period in Jamaica. And there is the concern that this is only a small fraction of the true picture. The laws in Jamaica say that all children deserve to be safe and protected from harm. Under Jamaican law, it is illegal for anyone to physically hurt a child, say mean or frightening things, not give a child what they need, or touch a child inappropriately. These rules are written in Jamaica's Child Care and Protection Act. But if the penalties are not strong enough, people will continue to break the law. Honorable judges, teachers, parents, fellow students, my most worthy opponents, we, the proposing team, believe that any reasonable person who means humanity well would agree that severely beating or torturing, sexually exploiting, assaulting, verbally abusing, threatening, depriving children of basic needs, and trafficking are harmful to children. Without apology, we strongly support that these actions be considered criminal offenses to be met with severe penalties. With this, I rest my case.
Thank you, Madam. And without apology, I will step to the opposing team, their first speaker.
Imagine a world where every child feels safe, loved, and protected. For some, that is the reality. But for others, home is not a place of safety, it's a place of danger. Good evening, judges, teachers, fellow debaters, and students. My name is Kira Williams, the first speaker for the opposition. We stand firmly against the motion that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalties. While we agree that child abuse is a serious issue, we believe that focusing solely on severe criminal penalties is an incomplete and ineffective solution. As the first speaker of the opposition, I will define child abuse and identify its signs and causes, showing why severe penalties are not effective. My second speaker, Joel Lawrence, will show how severe penalties can actually harm victims and families. My third speaker, Tiana Thomas, will discuss prevention and rehabilitation as more holistic responses. My fourth speaker, Catherine Earle, will summarize our case and refute the proposition's points. We believe breaking the cycle of abuse must focus on prevention, parental support, rehabilitation, and strengthening social and economic safety nets. I will begin by defining the key terms in the motion. 1. Child abuse refers to any harm or mistreatment of a person under 18. But it is more than a legal term. It is a trauma that reshapes a child's life, affecting how a child grows, thinks, and feels. Child abuse takes three main forms: physical abuse, which leaves visible marks or hidden injuries; emotional abuse, which shatters self esteem through criticism and rejection; and neglect, where basic needs like food and safety are ignored. Signs include sudden aggression, falling grades, or a fear of going home. 2. A criminal offense is an act that is against the law. 3. Severe penalties refer to very serious punishments, including long prison sentences or heavy fines. Simply put, the motion suggests that harming a child should always result in the harshest possible punishments. However, the opposition believe that this one-size-fits-all approach is not the answer. We must prioritize prevention and rehabilitation to heal families and break the cycle of harm. Now that we understand the terms of this motion, let us look at the reality. According to the UNICEF and the 2023 Jamaica Violence Against Children and Youth Survey, we are in a national crisis. 3 out of 4 children have faced violence in their lifetime. 76% of Jamaican children experience violent discipline. Over 53% of girls and 61% of boys have endured physical violence. Roughly 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys have been victims of sexual violence, frequently before the age of 13. In 2024 alone, the National Children's Registry received nearly 14,000 reports involving over 25,000 separate incidents of abuse. This is the status quo, the reality we're living in today. Currently, the Child Care and Protection Act allows up to 30 years in prison, but these penalties are applied inconsistently. Furthermore, the legal gray area of reasonable corporal punishment makes it harder to protect children. Simply increasing penalties is a band-aid on a deep wound. As the opposition, we argue that we cannot punish our way out of this crisis. We must choose a holistic approach that fixes the root causes. So, let us look beyond these numbers and ask a deeper question. Why is this happening? Child abuse is often caused by the complex struggles some families face every day, including poverty, lack of education, lack of support, mental illness. Finally, a parent may repeat the cycle of abuse because they were victims themselves. When we look at these causes and the heartbreaking statistics in Jamaica, we have to ask the proposition and the judges. Will heavier fines and longer prison sentences fix this? The answer is no. The opposition believes that waiting to give out severe penalties means waiting until a child is already hurt. We must invest in parental education and mental health support to stop violence before it starts. Furthermore, we must face the reality that most offenders eventually return to their communities. Without rehabilitation, we're just hitting pause on the cycle of abuse. We don't need more prison cells. We need counseling, better schools, and stronger social safety nets. We stand firmly against this motion because we want a system that prevents, heals, and protects, so we can finally end the cycle of child abuse in Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let us turn our attention to the second speaker of the proposing team.
Dr. Carol Blanchard, teachers, parents, guests, teammates, worthy opponents, judges, good evening. My name is Kyra Smith, and I am the speaker number 2 for the proposing team. In supporting the mood that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalties, I wish to highlight the consequences of abuse on a child's life. Alarmingly, according to a UNICEF sexual violence report concluding in October 2024 and published by the World Health Organization, child abuse has severe short and long-term physical, sexual, and mental health consequences. These include injuries and disabilities, post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety, depression, sexually transmitted infections, including HIV, and unfortunately death. Teenage and preteen girls may face additional sexual-related health issues, including unwanted pregnancies. Numerous studies show that child abuse can affect academic performance and is strongly associated with alcohol use, drug abuse, smoking among other destructive habits. Child abuse causes stress that is associated with disruption in early brain development. Extreme stress can also impair the development of nervous and immune systems. Sometimes stress is caused by the burden of carrying the shame, guilt, and scars of abuse. According to a UNICEF 2019 publication that speaks to childhood in Jamaica stained by violence, while many females have told someone about the abuse, about 2/3 of them were not reported to the authorities. Violence against children is also a contributor to inequality in education. Children who experience any form of violence in childhood have a 13% greater likelihood of not graduating from school, impacting social and economic welfare. Beyond the health, social, and educational consequences of child abuse, there is an economic impact, including costs of hospitalization, mental health treatment, child welfare, and longer-term health costs that affect both the impacted families and the nation. Such an impact that can prove lifelong, especially without the required intervention, needs severe penalties to deter perpetrators. A child can rarely defend him or herself, and therefore we are dependent on our lawmakers to defend their rights, as outlined in the Child Care and Protection Act of 2004. Judges were the opponents. The consequences of child abuse are severe and far-reaching, impacting not only the child, but the nation. Harsh laws should not be optional. optional, but necessity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've heard from our second speaker from the proposing team. Now we move on to the second speaker of the opposing team.
Madam Chairperson, judges, honorable opponents, and members of the St. Andrew Preparatory School community. Good evening. The proponents would like you to believe that harsher penalties are needed for a crime of child abuse. And yes, it is a crime. This approach is based on two instincts: the need for retribution and the belief that harsher penalties will be a deterrent. But what they fail to consider is the effect it has on children you are supposed to protect. As the second speaker, I will explain how and why severe penalties do not work as deterrents. We will propose a better way: prevention and rehabilitation. It is not our intention to see perpetrators, especially the worst of the worst, set free with no penalties. But we are looking out for the best interest of the victim who has already suffered some degree of trauma. So let us ask the question: are harsher penalties a deterrent? I say no. Firstly, offenders discount harsher penalties. A study cited by the Minnesota House of Representatives found that criminals mentally discount punishment. To them, a 5-year sentence only feels twice as bad as a 1-year sentence, not 5 times as bad. They don't do the math. Also, based on findings by Australia's Sentencing Advisory Council, offenders are irrational. They consider only the immediate benefit of the crime, not the punishment that comes years later. Thus, increasing the severity of the penalty has almost zero effect on their decision. A major study by the researcher group in 2008 examined 700 studies from around the world. You know what they found? They found that the severity of the punishment doesn't matter. What matters is the probability of detection, meaning, and the chance of getting caught. Now let us bring the debate closer to home. Section 8 of the 2004 Child Care and Protection Act of Jamaica states that the best interests of the child are paramount. It mentions a very important principle known as the family principle. It says, and I quote, "A family is preferred environment for the care and upbringing of children." If we impose severe penalties on our parents, especially one that carries imprisonment, we are destroying the already fragile family environment and going directly opposite to this family principle. We are taking a child who is already hurting and returning them to an orphan to the justice system. It's in the child's best interest to grow up without a parent because the court decided to be severe rather than helpful. I think no, not. But Madam Speaker, are we saying that one should just leave the child in a situation to suffer abuse? No, that is not what we are saying. We are proposing an alternative that will help the victim and rehabilitate the offender, therefore preventing further abuse. How would we do that? I am glad you asked to tune in for my teammates. I am Joel Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lawrence. And now it's time for our third speaker from the proposing team.
Thank you, Dr. Blanchard. Good day, Dr. Good evening, Dr. Blanchard, judges, teachers, my fellow speakers, and the audience. Imagine a world where children are not safe in their own homes or schools. Children should be laughing, learning, and dreaming about their future, not living in fear. Today, I will explain why it is essential to protect children from child abuse. First, children have a right to feel safe. Every child deserves to grow up in a loving and caring environment. Adults have a duty to protect children and make sure they are not harmed. Second, child abuse can hurt a child both physically and emotionally. It can cause injuries, fear, sadness, and low confidence. These problems can affect a child for many years. Third, when children are safe, they can grow, learn, and achieve their dreams. Protecting children helps them focus on school, build friendships, and become successful adults. Remember, when we are protecting children today, we are protecting the future of our world. We appreciate that determining whether to impose severe penalties for child abuse involves balancing the need for justice and protection with the complexities of family dynamics and rehabilitation. However, we strongly believe that in ensuring justice for our abused children, the imposition of severe penalties plays a fundamental part and benefits society. I will highlight three key benefits. One, discouragement. Harsher punishments, such as life sentences, are intended to instill fear and prevent potential offenders from committing such acts when they consider the consequences. Number two, punishment and justice. Severe sentences affirm the community's values and acknowledge the atrocious nature of crimes against vulnerable children. Number three, public safety. Long prison terms are needed to ensure that high risk, impulsive, or aggressive abusers are removed from society for an extended period, preventing further harm to children. Judges. Children are people too, and as Nelson Mandela said, and I quote, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Judges, persons who breach this sacred responsibility and abuse our children must be dealt with severely. Protecting children from abuse is essential because children deserve safety, love, and the chance to grow into strong, successful adults. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The third speaker from the opposing side.
Good evening, valued judges, teachers, opponents, fellow students, and other guests. I am Tiana Thomas, your third speaker. Madam Speaker, my opponents would have you believe that punishment alone is adequate for addressing child abuse, but that is simply not the case. The Child Care Protection Act of 2004 ensures that anyone who harms a child is held responsible. This responsibility is not about punishing a past offense, rather, it is about preventing future harm. That is why the focus of the justice system should not only be on punishment, but also helping offenders change their behavior with the goal of never repeating it. Rehabilitation means giving offenders the tools they need to change their emotions, to manage their emotions, and improve parenting skills. These tools refer to counseling, guidance, and support, thereby allowing offenders to understand their mistakes and learn from them. Rehabilitation is not being soft, it is smart protection. One of the best ways to keep children safe is to make sure everyone in the community knows signs of child abuse and how to report it. Organizations like the Office of
the Office of the Children's Advocate, among others, serve this function, and one such program is to call 211, which is used to report child maltreatment. Madam Speaker, the facts support us. Research shows that rehabilitation works. Many child abuse offenders cause harm because of their own past trauma or because they never learned how to manage their emotions. A study in the Journal of the Family Violence found that offenders who took part in structured counseling were 40% less likely to abuse again. In Jamaica, parenting intervention programs conducted by Parenting for Long Life Learning, supported by United Nations Children Fund, have helped reduce instances of harsh punishment in homes by up to 47%. The message is clear. Offenders who receive rehabilitation are far less likely to repeat the offense. That is why, after punishment, it is important to give them a real chance to learn and change. This helps keep children safe, strengthens families, and builds safer communities. Individual counseling and family therapy are greatly beneficial in educating offenders to understand their actions and learn healthier ways to deal with stress and anger. By focusing on both responsibility and rehabilitation, we can break the cycle of child abuse and create a safer Jamaica for every child. I thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our debaters will go in the breakout room to start deliberating. Who will be presenting the rebuttal? You know, they will now move and huddle in their breakout rooms so that they can actually determine what is going to happen. They have listened to the speeches of the opposing team. And so at this time, they will meet to decide on their closing arguments, the rebuttal. And so maybe our system administrator can actually put our judges in a breakout room so that they can start putting their information together and wait for the final rebuttal or for the rebuttal. So judges, I want, in the interest of time, I would suggest that you also go in the breakout room and put your notes together and wait for the final points in terms of the rebuttal. So start tallying the scores, judges, and then you meet again for a few more minutes to determine the winners of today's debate. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for them to huddle. And we remind you that April 1st is our Upper School Sports Day. Those persons who have not already applied for the day at work, it's time to do so. Apply for the day at work so that you can be with the upper school children from grades 3 to 6 in their sports day. We also want to remind you that our earthquake drill involving parents' participation from our lower school will be tomorrow at 12:50. And so we want you to get used to what happens when we have a drill here at STAPS. So if we are actually experiencing an earthquake when you're on compound, you will know what to do. We want to tell you that at STAPS for one of our fundraisers for the swim team is indeed bun and cheese. And so you can get that information from Miss Joan Reed regarding bun and cheese for Easter. You can support the swim team in that regard. You will also support the graduation committee when you make your purchases on Sports Day as well as our PTA. Make sure that you're supporting these groups, and we thank you for your patronage. We want to also remind you that we are going to be having a snack shop, a snack machine on property. So those persons who are here beyond our dismissal period, you'll have chances to purchase your snacks. You will not go hungry anymore. Boys' Day is upon us, and there is indeed a contribution box that our committee has put together, and boy, those videos. Could we see the Boys' Day video at this time? our systems administrator, the technical team, the Boys Day video. As they prepare, we want to also remind parents in grade 6 that we will be having a pajama marathon session for our grade 6 students preparing for their PEP exams. Now, there is indeed a program of work, strategic program of work for our grade 4 students, and we will be doing the same for our grade 5 students. They've already started their program, but we continue because we want to be able to get the great results at STAPS, where we believe in excellence. On May 29th, indeed, it is our 95th anniversary celebration, as well as recognition of our staff members who have served for 15 years or more at the institution. That will be done at the regional headquarters at the UWI on May 9th, the Saturday following Teachers' Day, or the Saturday after Teachers' Day. And we know that it's quite close to Mother's Day. So make your purchases of your anniversary tickets. The price has been reduced to $10,000 for regular accommodation and $12,000 for VIP. Thank you. We are now ready for our Boys' Day video.
And remind them they're not alone. Being a boy can feel heavy. Your son is carrying things he can't always explain. Fear of failing. He feels like it might crush him. That's why we created Boys Day, to inspire boys and remind them they're not alone. And when those moments replay in his mind, the cheers, the mentors, the laughter, high fives from his father, he remembers he's loved, he's seen, and Boys Day is for him.
Strength under pressure!
Give $2,000 today to make Boys Day 2026 a reality. Being a
Thank you so much to the Boys' Day Committee. And we want to say thank you to those parents who are supporting Mrs. Neal, Mrs. Sonia Neal, who is heading that committee along with the parent head, Mrs. George. They are doing a fantastic job. Those parents are working so hard behind the scenes to put together what I believe is going to be a phenomenal day for our boys. And so we need your support. Parents, we need your support. If it is that you have already supported, you can put an emoji in the chat and encourage others to participate in Boys Day 2026. Make your contribution. $2,000 will go a far way for our boys who are going to be having quite a few wonderful experiences. You can actually put your contributions in the boxes that are provided during the school day. Thank you so much. And now, are our judges ready? Or sorry, our debaters ready for their rebuttal? It's time for them to join us for the rebuttal. So our systems administrator will indicate same to our boys and girls. So we will start with the rebuttal for the opposing side. The rebuttal for the opposing side. Rebuttal for the opposing side. May we have the rebuttal for the opposing side?
Okay, so, Madam Speaker, at the outset, let me make it absolutely clear that our team strongly condemns any form of harm against children. Protecting children must always be a priority. However, the question before this House is not whether child abuse is wrong, because we all agree that it is. The real question is whether making it a criminal offense with severe penalties is the most effective way to address the problem. Good evening, judges, teachers, my fellow teammates, and members of the opposition. I am Kathy Earl, your fourth speaker, and I will briefly summarize the key arguments presented by my team. First, we established that child abuse refers to any harm or mistreatment directed at a person under the age of 18. This abuse may be physical, psychological, or through neglect where a child does not receive adequate care. Secondly, our team explained that severe penalties are not always an effective preventative measure. Secondly, our team explained that severe penalties are not always a preventive measure, like I said. Thirdly, we highlighted that separating families may not always be in the child's best interest. We also stressed the importance of rehabilitation for offenders. Without rehabilitation, offenders may return to society and repeat the same harmful behaviors. Rehabilitation programs help address the root causes and break the cycle of abuse. While the opposition argues that harsher penalties will solve the problem, they fail to recognize that child abuse is already a criminal offense in many societies. The real challenge lies in reporting, prevention, and family support systems. So, for the first speaker, there was a fault. Severe penalties will not help Mr. Douglas, but rehabilitation will. Because when without rehabilitation, offenders may return to society and repeat the same harmful behaviors. Rehabilitation programs help address the root causes and break the cycle of abuse. For the second speaker, harsh punishments are making the victims scared to report because when harsh punishments such as long prison sentences are the primary response, victims or family members may become afraid to report the abuse because they fear breaking up the family or losing financial support. Thirdly, for the third speaker, so they stated that all offenses should get life sentences. So, what offenses? Slapping or shouting is life sentences? So, which offenses are you guys specifically talking about? Because also, when harsh punishments such as long prison sentences or life sentences or even death, the victims or family members will become afraid, and that is not helping to prevent child abuse. You have to stop it before it happens, and child abuse can be stopped by educating. It can be by educating and rehabilitating offenders so that they won't go into society and repeat the same offenses. Therefore, Madam Speaker, protecting children requires more than harsh punishments after the damage has already been done. It requires prevention, education, and rehabilitation so that we can truly break the cycle of abuse and build a safer future for our children in Jamaica land we love. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Earl. And now we'll have the final statements, the rebuttal from our proposing team. You're muted, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, esteemed principal, judges, and other guests. Today, my team has clearly shown why child abuse must be a criminal offense with severe penalties. I hear our opponents suggesting that there may be some less than desirable consequences when a society imposes severe penalties for criminals, because that is what they are, criminals who have been convicted of child abuse. Their suggestions why penalties should not be severe point to the mitigating and supporting mechanism that society should implement in addition to the harsh penalties. They are not a substitution for them. They work together. As a society, we can put in place a support system for the victims, their families, and the community whilst maintaining harsh penalties. Severe penalties send a clear message that harming a child will never be tolerated. They deter offenders, prevent repeated abuse, and help protect other children from suffering the same harm. While the opposition raised concerns about family separation, mental illness, and rehabilitation, none of these excuses justify allowing abuse to continue. A child's safety must always come first. Rehabilitation is important, but it cannot replace accountability. Justice gives victims recognition, protection, and a chance to heal. Strong laws with severe punishments do not destroy families. Abuse does. Strong laws with severe punishment do not silence reporting. They show society that children matter. Judges, we firmly believe that the crime of child abuse must be met with the most severe penalties for the perpetrators. Protecting our children is not optional, it is our responsibility. We rest our case and thank you.
Thank you so much. And at this time, we're going to be asking our judges to go in the breakout room for their final round of deliberations. And so we await them in probably in another couple of minutes. I'm sure the task is going to be far less onerous because they've started the activity a while ago. And so we give our judges some time to deliberate, and we just ask that you come back to prepare to allow us to view the Boys Day video again, so that our judges get some time to make their final petitions and their deliberation for the final announcement.
Being a boy can feel heavy. Your son is carrying things he can't always explain. Fear of failing. He feels like it might crush him. That's why we created Boys Day, to inspire boys and remind them they're not alone. And when those moments replay in his mind, the cheers, the mentors, the laughter, high fives from his father, he remembers he's loved, he's seen, and Boys Day is for him.
Strength under pressure!
Give $2,000 today to make Boys Day 2026 a reality.
There you have it. We are actually here now in the precincts of St. Andrew Preparatory School in the hall. And behind me is indeed the backdrop stating our official theme for the year as we celebrate 95 years of existence. And at this time, I'm sure the judges are going to be coming in the room to indicate to us who are the winners of today's debate. I want to say thank you to all those persons who are involved in today's staging of the debates. And I want to say to the teachers and the parents how proud I am as principal of this institution. They have done so well, and I'm very, very proud of them. Students from grade 5, DW, as well as Christina Neal's class and our Miss Reed's class. We are so proud of all the students who participated. We want to say to the parents that at least about a third or a quarter of the grade 5 cohort was represented here this evening. And we saw that quite a number of our students have sound public speaking skills, and we are particularly proud of them. The judges are now ready.
Okay, hello again, everyone. Okay, so let me tell you, this debate was very, very well done. So I think all the students should just take an opportunity now to just send yourself a clap emoji. What an amazing job for such a big topic, right? So the note was, be it resolved that child abuse should be a criminal offense with severe penalties. And listen, when we heard the topic, we were like, how are they going to handle this one? But listen, you guys did so well that this one was even harder to judge than the first one. So I want to say special commendations to all the students on both teams, as well as the teacher, and of course the parents who helped to assist with preparing for this big debate. Now, we want to commend, of course, the style in which the students presented, the different aspects of the storytelling, opening with different scenarios, giving us really painting the picture of what each team would have represented. So that was very well done. And then each speaker definitely represented in terms of commenting or highlighting and enforcing the point that they wanted to bring across. But the proposing team, very well done in terms of defining the key terms, highlighting the consequences, and just the emotive expression in how you delivered. That was very good from the judges' end as well. They also appreciated the statement of facts. So both teams represented the UNICEF facts, the local facts as well, and even going as far as to categorize the different consequences in terms of physical and emotional and sexual abuse and all of that. In terms of the points now, whether or not harsh penalties would be a deterrent or would be sufficient, both teams would have done a good job, whether being for or against that particular point. And of course, the rebuttals definitely sealed the deal and came in to reinforce and drive home the points of the respective teams. So both teams, amazing job. Now we have to decide who is the best speaker, and based on deliberation, again, we did have two options. We had two honorable mentions, I should say. So we want to make special acknowledgement for Tiana Thomas. You did very well in your presentation, of course. And we want to also acknowledge Jadion Campbell, who did very well for the proposing team. But based on the judge's decision, we have to say the best speaker overall was the opening speaker for the proposing team, Ms. Elizabeth Archer. Very well done. You did a great job at painting the picture for the proposing team and allowing us to really understand, where we were going and what the reality is of the situation, and reinforcing your belief that, yes, criminal offense of a child abuse should have a severe penalty. So congratulations to you, Elizabeth Archer. Now, the winning team. Wow. I tell you, this was very difficult. I can tell you only a few points. Lots of you, when you see the scores, you'll see just a little bit of points separate both teams. But we have to give it to the proposing team this time around because, again, they did a very good job in terms of citing their facts, presenting their arguments, and really, especially the rebuttal, again, we have to commend Jadion for just tying in the points and even making reference to the opposing team, mentioning that, yes, while their points can be considered, it's not the only option or the only solution, and therefore, again, solidifying the fact that they do believe that harsh and severe penalties is what would be the answer. So commendations to the proposing team, and very well done to the opposing team of grade 5 and R. So very well done, students.
So thank you, Chief Judge, Miss Brittany Clark, the reigning festival queen for 2025, preparing to give up her crown this year in the finals of the Jamaica Festival Queen competition. We thank all our judges this evening. We thank our judges from Citibank. Mr. Hamilton, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
And we thank you so much for being with us and the fantastic job that you have done. You represented the bank well, and not just in IT, but boy, you are a wonderful judge this evening. And we look to the stage to look at Miss Gooden. Where are you? Miss Gooden?
I'm right here.
Awesome. You're always with us. And we thank you so much for the job that you've been doing in this community called St. Andrew Preparatory School. We love to have you, and you've done quite a wonderful job over the years. You've had you for probably 2 years, right?
Yes.
And we thank you so much for the job that you are doing. I see you move, but being at KPMG, Jess,
no longer
is
at
indeed
City.
another community that we have included in the STAPS family to assist us with teaching and learning. Thank you so much. And we move to Miss Brittany Watts from Hillel Academy. Brittany?
Hi, Dr. B. Thank you again for having me, and well done to all the students. It was really well done, well presented. Excellent job.
Thank you so much. And finally, our chief judge again, the reigning Festival Queen. Anything from our Festival Queen this evening?
Well, I can say, Dr. B, the future is very bright. The students are very brilliant, and I'm looking forward to seeing, what they do on their PEP exams and just beyond this level at St. Andrew Preparatory School. So commendations to the students and to the teachers for doing such an amazing job. And of course, you, Dr. B, for leading the charge to have initiatives like these to give students the opportunity to build and grow in their public speaking and confidence. So great job to St. Andrew High School. Excellent, excellent job.
St. Andrew Prem.
Preparatory school. My apologies. Right.
That's all right. We're celebrating 95 years, and our sister school, St. Andrew High School, is celebrating 100 years old. And we're quite happy to be mistaken for St. Andrew High School nonetheless. I'm sure the quality here at Staps is reflective of the high school. Thank you so much for our support, the support that is given today from all our judges. And I want to commend our teachers and parents again, as well as the debaters. Boy, the debaters, you are making me crying at this time. I have to remove my glasses for the kind of work that you have done this evening. I want to thank all the debaters from all the classes for the work that you've done. And I will definitely be visiting you in your rooms, your form rooms tomorrow. And I say thank you so much to the parents and the teachers again. Now we're signing out, and I want to thank the technical team for the work that they have done behind the scenes to ensure that today was very smooth for us to operate. I also want to thank Miss Murray, who stayed behind very late to allow me to be in the confines of my office and in the confines now of the hall to really support you as host in this debate. And so thank you so much, everybody. And we are now signing out from Staps. From our home to yours. Have a wonderful evening. And we go out with our school song. Thank you.